U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo and Secretary of Defense Mark Esper visited the Indian capital New Delhi from October 26th to 27th. The two countries signed an important military agreement to strengthen cooperation in the Indo-Pacific region and push back on the CCP's military aggressions. On October 27th, Indian Prime Minister Modi led government officials and business leaders to meet with Pompeo and Esper. This is the third year that the two countries have held a 2+2 ministerial dialogue to strengthen the strategic partnership in order to contain the CCP's growing international influence. This high-level meeting took place just 1 week before the 2020 U.S. presidential election, which may reflect that the United States attaches great importance to deepening U.S.-India ties.
Be it the CCP's Belt and Road Initiative or the Indo-Pacific strategy that the United States wants to pursue, India is indeed a very important geographical location. India is also the world's largest democratic country. There is no doubt that India has an irreplaceable role to play in curbing the CCP's global expansion and helping the United States and the West resist threats from the CCP.
I would say the cooperation between the United States and India is the finale in the historic move to counter CCP, because in terms of naval battles, at present, it is not possible to completely suppress the CCP. But in terms of land battles, especially in the Indian Ocean section of the Strait of Malacca, the CCP is doomed when India agrees to join the fight.
One of the highlights of the 2+2 talks is the signing of the Basic Exchange and Cooperation Agreement, BECA. The Indian government approved the draft agreement last week, laying the foundation for the formal signing. BECA will allow the sharing of geospatial mapping from U.S. satellite data, which can be used to enhance the accuracy of drones and long-range missiles. It will also allow India to receive advanced navigational aids and flight management systems from the United States. An Indian government official revealed that there has already been a lot of intelligence sharing between the United States and India, especially regarding the CCP's activities in the China-India border area. The information shared includes the deployment of the CCP's military on the border and the CCP's maritime activities. Traditionally, India has been reluctant to join the US-led security alliance and restrain China. However, in mid-June this year, a clash occurred on the border between China and India, which caused military casualties on both sides. Since then, tension between the two countries has continued to worsen, and both sides have deployed tens of thousands of artillery troops to the area.
India is a non-aligned country, but modern combat requires an integration of internet, electronic technology, and information. The U.S. military is very advanced in these fields. If India has the support of the United States in technology, it will be very beneficial to India's war with the CCP, and India would definitely applaud the coalition proposal.
After taking effect, BECA will be the fourth basic military agreement between the United States and India. Previously, the Logistics Exchange Memorandum of Association, LEMOA, was signed in 2016, the Communications Compatibility and Security Agreement, COMCASA, in 2018, and the General Security of Military Information Security Agreement, GSOMIA, in 2002. According to informants, India and the United States will also discuss a maritime information agreement. After meeting with Modi, Pompeo traveled to Sri Lanka on October 27th and on to the Maldives on October 28th. His next stop will be Indonesia, as these three countries are the key players in Indo-Pacific maritime transportation. Sri Lanka has fallen into the CCP's Belt and Road Initiative debt trap. Due to its inability to repay, in 2017 the country had to lease its southern deep-water port of Hambantota to the CCP for a period of 99 years. But it was reported last year that the new Sri Lankan government wanted to take back this deep-water port. The Maldives is also heavily indebted because of the Belt and Road Initiative. After the new government came to power last year, it accused the former government of corruption in a huge contract with China and demanded that the CCP reduce its debt and modify interest rates. Indonesia and the CCP have disputes over the sovereignty of part of the South China Sea.
Grain prices are rising in China this year as a result of severe crop failures caused by the epidemic and floods. Yet the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Affairs of the CCP has declared this year's grain harvest a certainty, with output predicted to reach the highest level in history. China has seen frequent floods this year, with several major rice-grown regions hit hard. On September the 22nd, the Amur River surged and a dam burst, flooding more than 28,000 hectares of ripe rice. On October the 21st, the CCP's Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Affairs announced at a press conference on the economic situation in agriculture and rural affairs for the first 3 quarters of 2020 that the grain harvest has become a certainty and that output is expected to reach the best level in history, claiming the output of early summer rice reached 170 billion kilograms, an increase of 2.24 billion kilograms over the previous year. Despite the CCP's vaunted autumn harvest, the market price of rice has continued to rise. Several grain companies have been issuing price notices, even to the point of pricing each particular delivery, which seems to directly expose the CCP's lies. Jiangxi Xinliang Grain and Oil Company issued a notice on October the 19th saying that due to the epidemic and natural disasters this year, it rained for 2 months in several major grain-producing areas near the harvest season, all the rice was seriously affected, and the overall rice yield decreased by 30% compared with previous years. According to the company's market forecast for the next 1 to 2 months, the price per ton of rice will increase at least $30 to $75. The company has decided to start the price adjustment of all rice items from October the 19th, 2020. Please pay attention to the inquiry when ordering. Yangtze River Greenland Company in Hubei Province said in a letter to customers on October the 20th that it would increase the price of rice and other related byproducts due to the impact of grain output reduction and the epidemic. On October the 21st, Jinyin Feng Grain Reserve Company in Hubei issued a price adjustment notice, saying that the producer's price for rice will be adjusted immediately in light of the recent large increase in the original grain price and the difficulty in purchasing new grain. On the same day, Wuzhou Rice Company in Yiyang City, Hunan Province, also issued a price increase notice. The reason was that the grain harvest has been reduced nationwide this year, and the price fluctuates greatly several times a day. In order to ensure supply to the market, the price will be adjusted at any time. Mr. Xu, a farmer in Poyang County, Shangro City, Jiangxi Province, told the Epoch Times that wholesalers in Jiangxi Province told him that the rice harvest this year was 1/3 lower than in previous years, but the purchase price was lower than in previous years. This could be due to human factors.
The yield per mu, 0.067 hectare, is reduced by 200 to 250 kilograms, mainly because of the early rain and the lodging of late rice. The price of grain rose, but the purchase price was a few hundred yuan less than in previous years.
Farmers in Jiangsu Province told Radio Free Asia that in addition to severe floods and the epidemic, the loss of farmland was also contributing to crop loss as a result of the destruction and encroachment of farmland by urbanization in rural areas, coupled with widespread flooding this year. A food shortage crisis is inevitable. Wen Rui, an independent commentator on China affairs, believes that there are other human factors to food shortages.
I have a friend who works in the Provincial Grain Bureau. He told me the truth. The first reason is the poor harvest caused by floods this year, which has left many grain-producing areas with no crops. The other reason is that the original grain reserve was not enough. Why was the reserve not enough? They know it for themselves. They can't say it directly, but I get the basic idea. The grain was sold to them. They sold it to those who could make wine or feed.
Due to the epidemic this year, countries have restricted exports to ensure domestic food supplies amid fears that the spread of the disease will halt economic activity and reduce production. In the face of the food crisis, Chinese authorities have bought grain from Burma, and 43 Burmese rice exporting companies are now licensed to export grain to China, Radio Free Asia reports.
There will be some grain in stock this year and next. Now that the CCP has completely turned against the U.S., it has no choice but to import grain. So in the short term, I think there's going to be a crisis in food. And the crisis is probably mainly in terms of prices. The price will go up, but there won't be a famine for a while.
After trumpeting a good summer harvest this summer, the CCP is now talking of an autumn harvest while importing grain from Myanmar. The grain price in China is also soaring, despite what's been described as the best production in history.